the issue of parliament is very dodgy in the following manner. Those MPs who are alleging, who are wandering, who are making noise in the names of Duale, in the names of the Speaker, in the names of those you have mentioned, should not be talking. The Speaker is okay. Duale should be the first person to be shown the door, to be investigated, and to be to have his lifestyle audited. He cannot come and shame himself by telling Kenyans or telling members of parliament that, oh, these people have turned this house into corruption there. Yet he himself has got a lot of question marks. And I'm willing to be taken to court.
And Prof, why are you saying that he is shaming himself by...
Yeah, because he himself has questions. We are looking at him to come out clean. Let Duale come out and tell us how much money he has in his bank accounts. Let Duale come out and tell us where he acquired that plot in Isli, where he has built his hotel. Let Duale come out and tell us about his connections in family businesses. He should not be the one castigating other members of parliament.
And Prof, is there something you know that people, maybe Kenyans, do not know? Because you're saying that he should be investigated first before pointing his fingers to the members of parliament in the House committees.
Well, it's not actually news to us that Duale has not made some statements. He has made statements before. He has come up with himself, and he has not even substantiated. There's a time when he said that he knew who the sugar barons were and that he was going to name them. What happened to that? Let him come out clean. Let him table that the list that he said. Otherwise, Duale should not be the person talking about corruption in parliament.
And maybe don't you think, Prof, it's a genuine concern, the fact that the Speaker of the National Assembly and also the minority leader, this was not Duale alone, the minority leader, John Mbadi, also did say that members of parliament have now turned the House committees into, you know, money-making opportunities?
Yes, definitely, because the other day when this group started, they started interrogating the director of CID, Mr. Kinoti. They even had the audacity of going to Kinoti's house, breaking into Kinoti's house, Kinoti's office, I'm sorry, at CID headquarters, going into his office and even going to search for him in the toilet so that he could come out to produce the Minister for Internal Security, Mr. Matiang'i. Secondly, and not least, we have seen these people interfere with matters sub judice, matters which are within the court of law, whereby they came out to force the Minister for Internal Security to table evidence that was controversial and prejudicial to the ongoing matters that were in court. What was the hurry for? Have they come out to usurp powers of parliament, powers conferred to them, donated by Article 1 of the Constitution, to interrogate matters that are actually within their jurisdiction, or do they have to go outside their jurisdiction to pick their nose in the court matters or matters within the judiciary so that they can upstage matters before they are actually determined by the courts of law? I told the Minister for Internal Security not to appear, and even if he was to appear as he did, not to go beyond what he knew as other matters, as matters were pending in the courts of law. And thirdly, we have seen the way they are hugging suspects, hugging criminals. It is like when one or before one is taken to the courthouse, before the judge or the judge comes in, he leaves his chair of power and authority, walks out of the courthouse to hug a criminal before he brings the criminal before him and then interrogates evidence that is being adduced from both sides of the aisle before he makes a judgment. These people have just become crooks. The current parliament, I have no faith in it. Not all of it in general. We have some members of parliament who are very good. Let me give them that credit. But 90% of MPs are criminals. They need not even to be there.
Yeah. And now, Prof, where does this leave Kenyans, the fact that the top leadership in these committees, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Minority Leader and the Majority Leader are accusing members of Parliament of corruption? Where does it leave Kenyans?
First of all, they should not even be talking. The Speaker has the authority to direct the House, because even today he came out and he said members of Parliament should not now be hugging each other. It's like the House has become Sodom and Gomorrah. These are men who are married. These are women who are married. You imagine You hearing that your wife is hugging another MP, hugging is not wrong because they do it in church. But the manner in which they hug, it's like, thank you very much, you have money, we are going to spend together. You have even seen some of them going to hotels in Kericho and coming up and saying blah, blah. But I'm not going to go personal. But I can assure you for free that this is the first time we have a parliament that has got crooks, a parliament that has got people who came to power through corruption, a parliament that does not even listen to their own president, especially the Jubilee Party. When the president has come up in the forefront to say, this is my agenda for, we need every member of parliament to look into this, especially and particularly from my party. Now they have turned against that. They are even interrogating their own president. They have become chaotic. They are looking for what is not there. For example, now, why are they not coming out and saying the big names like Rai, of Reply, should be taken to court to account? Sometimes you find them saying that there was no mercury. There was no mercury. Then when the reports come out, there is mercury, they doctor the results.
Yeah.
It was very painful, very, very painful for them to come to a conclusion. We know who they are. Some of them are just misfits. People have no brains because they are taking Kenyans for granted. They are taking our country into the dogs. They are referring to us, and as you can hear, some of the so-called members of ministers who are members of parliament telling Kenyans to go to hell. What kind of country is this? We need very serious mindset. We need Kenyans to reinvent themselves, because the problem that is in parliament today is actually a problem that was constituted by Kenyans themselves. When they went to elect thieves, they should not be crying. They should take the blame.
And maybe, Prof, they are really hugging each other because of the handshake chronicle. What
No,
would you
that's
say
stupidity.
of that?
That is mocking the president. The president and the former prime minister were serious in what they were trying to do. And that brought down, and it harmonized and brought peace in the country. But they should not take advantage of that now, hugging. You hug me? Did I hug you when I came here? I say hi to you because of respect and morality. But this issue of going to hug another one, you're hugging somebody's wife, you're putting her breasts on your chest, that is immaterial. You can, I'm sorry, but I'm bitter for what's going on because they have taken Kenyans as a mockery. Instead of them legislating and having oversight authority, they have now gone into petty stuff. We know they're stealing, but the audit will bring them out. And I can assure you that every Thursday and Friday, some of these members of parliament switch off their phones because they know that Kinoti can knock on them at any time and take them to court. Recently, I was actually one of the panelists with a member of parliament who came in and she said openly that governors should not be arrested. They are important people of society. They should just be summoned. How? You are a member of parliament, you are a lawyer, you are coming to become mediocre on television. That is not acceptable. They should look at the law as one for every Kenyan. If you break the law, I break the law, let me be treated the way the law wants me to be treated.
All right.
You can even see now the whole thing going into the governors, wanting some kind of immunity, coming up and saying that they want immunity, they should not be arrested in a particular manner, getting some minister from somewhere coming up and saying the police are harassing and arresting people who are very important in the ministry when they have failed to issue a statement on the corruption that has been going on in those ministries. Hell no. Kenya is going to the dogs.
All right.
The president should stand up the way he's standing up now, and we should support him in this war against
corruption.
Yes.
And Prof, I'll ask you now, do you think or believe that there is corruption going on in the House committees? And now we have so much probe going on right now from the contraband sugar. We have the Solai probe ongoing. Now, do we still have faith? Should Kenyans have faith in what is happening at the committee houses, if at all what Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, is saying is somehow or maybe right? Those
committees are irrelevant. They are relevant because they are on the books of statute,
right.
But they are irrelevant because the participants in those committees are criminals. They have come in now to play daylight robbery with corruption. I don't see why matters which are within the police investigation, the DCI, matters which are within the anti-corruption, being taken over from these two bodies that are empowered by the Act of Parliament and within the Constitution, taking away to probe them. Really? Kenya has become a terrible place, especially Parliament. Why would you interrogate matters from the other arms of government when the matters are actually still ripe for litigation? What are they trying to downplay? What are they trying to preempt? That is nonsense. I'm sorry to say that.
All right. And now as we wind up, Prof, maybe you, because you're saying that these committees are irrelevant, now what is the functions of these House committees then? And are we looking forward to having results of the probe that is ongoing for different, when you talk about contraband sugar, it's something affecting every Kenyan right now. What would you say is the hope for the probe investigations ongoing?
Well, Kenyans should just actually forget about Parliament, forget that they are in existence, and the courts are assessed of the matter. Let the courts do their work. Let the DCI do his work. Let the anti-corruption do his work. But as far as faith in Parliament is concerned, hell no. That's why I will never run to be an MP under such circumstances. I don't want to be part of those team of criminals.
Okay, Professor George, what more do we need to say? Well said, but we hope that there's going to be hope, maybe, if not this Parliament, but we hope something can be done to change what is going on.
Lifestyle audit.
Yeah.
Let the president continue the lifestyle audit and let us know. Because some of these people have become so rich. Imagine, I have all these big vehicles in the US, and I can brag because I bought them through my own sweat. But look at what's happening here. Somebody has been driving a mkokoteni. He goes to Parliament. You see him like, he lives like a king. I really fail to understand the logic behind the government giving 5 or 6 or 3 security members of the police service as security bodyguards to these people. Really, just give this man, one person, and let him pay for it. Because it's taxpayers who are paying for these people.
Right.
But I don't want to speak much on that, because I don't want also to appear as if I'm angry. I'm not angry, but I'm just being realistic.
Right.
Because unless we say these things, who is going to say them?
Kenyans, maybe.
Thank you.
All right, Professor George, thank you so much for making time for us. We have to end there, but we appreciate that you could make time for us. All right, and now we take a breather, but we are coming